and welcome to What It Takes by EDA, the podcast where we talk about the journeys and challenges within every profession. Thank you for joining us for episode 2. My name is Lydia.
My name is Arish.
And today we have Nick, and we're going to be talking about what it takes to be a construction worker.
Construction entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur, because he's a businessman.
There you go.
Okay?
You got that right.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go. So,
Okay.
go.
If you want to ask some questions first, or I have some questions. Okay, you know what? We'll
Yeah.
start it off.
We've done so much talking already, guys.
Yeah, that's fair enough. We'll start it off. Who are you? Where did you start?
Yeah.
Did you go to school? Like, did you?
Yeah, I want to know what school.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to know what school.
Yeah, so
we want to know all the
I
fun
actually
stuff.
did go to school.
That's crazy.
I have a degree in construction science and management.
So that's
Okay.
an actual degree.
Yeah, it is.
Where'd you go?
It is. So I went to George Brown. It's a Ryerson sponsored program. So I have a degree from Ryerson.
Wow.
Very cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very.
Okay, so you have a so that took you 4 years.
Took me 4
To
years.
do.
Yeah.
And how was your grades? Like, were they like
Amazing.
really?
Amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, what made you choose like construction?
It was just something that I always fell in love with. Like, there's nothing more beautiful than building something with your own hands. Like,
That's so true. But like, who showed you that?
so none of my family, except for one member of my family, is a construction worker. He was an electrician, and basically what ended up happening was I used to hate doing chores at home. It's like
Same. Me.
it's just one of those things that
like
just killed
everyone.
me. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So my mom used to be like, "Oh yeah, you don't want to do chores? Go to work." And I'd be like, "All right,
All right.
Okay.
cool, let's go." So I actually started in construction. I was in grade 7. So I was very young. I was 12, turning 13. I had a full beard. It's just one of those things.
What?
It was the weirdest thing ever, but that's what happened.
Yeah.
So it allowed me the opportunity to get into the construction field. I started as an electrician. By the time I got out of high school, I was almost a registered, licensed electrician. Like, I had the hours in order to do it. So I would have been getting out of high school making $36 an hour.
Like back
at
in
the
the
time,
day, yeah.
which
Wow.
was like
Dang.
pretty
That was a
good. Back
lot.
in the day, I'm only 32, so relax, okay?
I
I was like, not that long ago.
Back in the day.
But anyways, we're gonna get back in the
That's so
day.
funny.
That's crazy.
So, but yeah, making like
was like
$35 an
10
hour is a big deal, man. That was a big deal. So,
yeah, for sure.
yeah, that's kind of how I got into the industry. It was cool. And then what happened to me throughout the electrician, like being an electrician, I got tired of it. I feel like I'm one of those people. I just need to learn every day.
Yeah.
It's a passion of mine. Same way as building things is my passion, learning is another passion of mine. So having the ability to learn through doing different things within the construction field really pushed me towards that construction science and management degree, because it just opened a whole lot of different doors or possibilities, or so I thought. And that's kind of why I got the degree and why I chose to do construction.
So awesome. I have a
Yeah.
question. Just curious. Obviously, EDA, a lot of student people might be thinking about starting their own business. Just curious, like, because you've been in construction like your whole life and you liked it a lot. When did you have that first idea of starting your own business? And is it too late for us? Because we see a bunch of stuff about like Bill Gates or whatever, you know, those big, like, you know, billionaires starting like really, really young. So for people like watching and for our audience and even us, like, when did you start? So just to
Like,
put in
how old were
perspective.
you?
So
Yeah.
I was always an entrepreneur. I was just one of those kids that throughout elementary school, high school, I was the guy who sold like a whole bunch of stuff. You needed like
Oh, you're like-
jerseys,
The
That
candy
guy that
kid.
like at recess
bracelets.
would like
You,
sell
like,
stuff.
Exactly.
Like, you want gum? Well, give me $2.
Yeah, $2. Yeah,
That's so
I used
funny.
to, like, my mom, when she used to make like rice balls, for example.
So
I'd be
you
like,
sell
Ma,
the rest.
make me an extra 15, and I'd sell them $5 a
That's
pop.
so funny.
Damn.
So, like,
that's crazy.
It was always just a thing of mine where I loved the entrepreneur life. I wanted to be a businessman. I wanted to be a hustler. That's what I wanted. That's what I had the passion for. So that's kind of why I decided to go into the entrepreneur realm. But I was smart. And what I did was I learned from somebody else before I made the mistakes on my own.
And who
So-
was that?
So I actually worked for a couple big production builders throughout my tenure as a site supervisor. When I got hired on, I was the youngest site supervisor in Ontario at the time. I was 21. I was running job sites, building 400 or 500 houses at a time.
So wait,
which is
when did
pretty
you
cool.
Wait, how old are you when you graduated?
21.
So then,
As soon as I got out of school,
so
bang.
then,
Oh, sorry, 22. I was 22.
so then, how did
Not
you
21.
get? So you got your degree.
Yeah.
But then, how did you get your first like opportunity? Like, what did you do to get your first like site supervisor
Yeah,
job?
so it's pretty. That's actually pretty crazy. So while I was in university, I had my own business. I was operating a construction business where I was doing all the work with my own hands. So I was learning a lot, and I was networking. So I was building relationships with people who were building houses. And then through that, I ended up applying for jobs like everywhere. And one day, this guy who works for a big company comes by my house. He was my uncle's neighbor at the time. And he drops off a couch, and I see the logo on his truck. And I'm like, all right, maybe I'll ask this guy. I'm like, I don't know this guy from a hole in the wall. I've been breaking my back for people who would tell me they were going to give me a job if I did like the tile in their house. Or maybe I painted their house. Oh yeah, don't worry, I know a guy who knows a guy. And it never ended up happening. And this random guy comes to my house. And as he's driving off, my mom goes, go give him a resume. I was like, for what? This guy doesn't know me from a hole in the wall. She goes, go give him a resume. I grabbed the resume. They were on my front porch. Like, that's how many resumes I was dropping off. I grabbed the resume. I run out the front door. I'm like, hey. I knock on the window. I'm like, you guys hiring? He goes, yeah. I said, here's my resume. He goes, okay, you'll get a call tomorrow. I was like, all right, bro. No problem. Thank you. I walked back inside. My mom's like, how'd it go? I was like, he said he's going to hire me.
Yeah, well, who like actually
Big
knows.
deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know how many people told me that?
Yeah.
Sure enough, the next day, I get a call. I'm like, what the hell?
Damn.
I answer the phone. I'm like, hey, what's up? He's like, okay, we want you to come in for an interview. I was like, all right, man. Let's go.
Was that like your first interview?
First interview ever. I never had the interview
and your
for a
mom,
job.
like,
That's what always stress
Yeah.
your mom.
Yeah,
your mom,
exactly.
like,
Yeah.
literally, like,
Yeah.
what if she,
saved
like,
you.
never said that?
Then I don't think I'd be where I am today. I
You're really
do,
close with
yeah.
your mom?
100%.
Like, so close.
100%.
I love
Mom's
that.
boy, without a doubt.
Aw.
Yeah, not even a question.
Aw.
100%. But yeah, so that was my opportunity to get my foot in the door. I went to this interview, and the guy goes, you have no experience. You're rougher on the edges. You
No way he
swear."
said that.
Yeah, but like, again, I never been to an interview. So I
Oh,
was
so
just
you don't even
being-
know what to
being me.
say.
Oh,
You know what I
okay.
mean? He goes, why should I hire you? And I said this one line, and the guy got up and he jumped. And he goes, he's like, so why should I hire you? I said, because I won't let you down. He gets up, he smashes the table. He's like, you're hired. He's like, you're hired. You got the job. He's like, you know how many people I asked that question, and nobody could give me a good answer. He's like, you gave me the perfect answer. He's like, that's what I want to hear. I won't let you down. And I stood by that, and it allowed me to get so far in life because anybody I give my word to, anybody I say that I'm going to do something for, I won't let them down. Yeah.
Perfect. I'll say that in my next next interview.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I won't let
Yeah.
you down.
I hope I get that job.
Exactly.
But that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna ask something about. You said okay. So that do you know the guy like still?
Yeah,
To this day?
yeah, of course, yeah.
So he's
Yeah.
probably seen you now.
100%.
And we didn't specify this, but he has a company called Iron Shake Inc. where they do like project management. He did consulting as well, and they basically like renovate homes and do all of that. And we should have like said
And
that
build
at the
homes,
beginning.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
you
okay.
build those.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah, there's a little bit of everything. So obviously he's a very successful businessman. So now like he sees you and he's like, wow. Like he
Yeah.
was like he probably
He
sees
was-
you now and he's like,
he-
wow, I'm so thankful I hired
Yeah.
this guy.
He opened the door for me. He opened the door
Takes
for me
one
that nobody
person,
else
like-
would, and that's all it takes. It's really all it takes. Yeah.
That's what it takes.
Yeah,
That's so
100%.
That's
And
literally.
when the stars align, they align. But you have to, like, before I met that guy, I dished out probably 30 resumes within the week after I finished my school, my university degree. I finished. My buddies all went to Europe, and I applied for jobs. That's what I did.
Wow.
So I dished out 30, 40 resumes, whatever it was. I used to walk into places, full suit, tie, like ready
Yeah.
to rumble. Like, I'm here, give me a job.
Yeah.
Nobody gave me nothing. And all of a sudden, this random guy, bang, it happens.
And see, that's what I look at too. And I'm like, because you had your degree at that time. So it's like you had your education. So it's like,
Yeah.
you're right when you say like you have to go like start your own business or do something like that. Because education at the end of the day, like it's good to have for like some fields, like if you're becoming a lawyer or a doctor, like you need that. But like for some people, it's kind of just like they just want to, do you think it's like just start your own business? Like, because.
Ask me the question.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
what do you think? Like, do you think, like, not that, are you against, like, the typical 9 to 5? Or, like, have you worked a 9 to 5, actually?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so working that job, we don't do 9 to 5. We do 7 to 5.
Yeah.
So I'm showing up
Oh,
on
that
job
was, like,
site
more.
at 6:30 in the morning, and I'm leaving at 5 o'clock. And then
Yeah.
right after that, I would go run my own business. And from 5 o'clock till 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, I'd work.
Yeah.
And then as that started to recur and as everything started to come together, I decided like, okay, now I'm making more money on my side job than I am at my real job.
Oh, that's when
It's
you
time
like,
for me
yeah.
to quit.
That's when you like
Yeah.
know. Wow.
That's when you know. You got it. So look, there's nothing wrong with starting a business from scratch and like going all in on it. But if you have an opportunity to build that business while you're working for somebody else, take it. That's some advice that I would give any entrepreneur who's just starting out or guys like you coming out of school. Get a job, create a business, work that business, the hours that you are sitting around watching Netflix. There's no reason for it. Get off your ass. I can say that, right? Okay?
Yeah.
Get off your ass and do something with your time. And if you make that time productive, you will be successful.
Are you like, I think what my question kind of like is like not against education, but
Yeah.
do you think it's
Necessary?
Yeah. Do you think it's necessary?
So I'm 50-50 on it. I think like when I have kids, I'm going to get them to get a university degree, but I'm not going to get them to get the degree because it's important to have the degree. What these education systems teach you guys is discipline. It teaches you have to wake up every morning. It teaches you have to listen to somebody. You have to absorb information, and you need to reiterate that information, however it is that you have to reiterate it.
And you have to get
So-
tasks done too.
Exactly.
And you need to do good.
You have
And you
to,
have to
yeah.
do good, right?
Like,
So that's probably the most important thing that you can take from any school is discipline. Because in real life, that's the most important thing that you can have.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. I do want to ask, in that construction space or even in any entrepreneurship space, what do you see people trying to start their own business do right? And then what do you see them do wrong? Like, what do you see people do that, you know, builds their business up versus what do you see people do that kind of like slows it down, slows that progress
So
down?
do you want to talk about construction directly or you want
Yeah,
to talk
I think
about
we
just
I
like
think construction
entrepreneurship?
directly would work.
So here's the thing. When you're starting a business, you can't do nothing wrong. Because you have to learn. You have to take on those opportunities and you need to you need to get your beats. You need to get your shots. You need to get kicked. You need to get knocked down. And the best thing that you can do is to have that experience on small things. Because when they happen at a grand scale, they hurt a lot more. And if you're not used to it, you're going to fall apart. So there's nothing wrong with starting a business. The worst thing that you can do to start a business is to not start a business. So start your business, get your beats, get your lumps, learn your lessons, and then continue to grow that.
is there anything though that you've seen in like other companies where you're like, like I could have done that better, or like I see what you do and I'm
100%.
like what?
Yeah.
What's something?
So look, you have to take the opportunity to learn from anybody. I'm going to learn something from you today. I'm going to learn something from you today. There's an opportunity to learn from everybody. So if you can learn from somebody else's experiences, learn from them. Read your books, network, talk to people who are in your industry, who are over and above, who are exceeding your expectations or far beyond where you are right now. And that's going to garner you an opportunity to learn from somebody else's mistakes. If I can say anything that I see in people that I would recommend to do differently, there's lots of things. Start a corporation, not a sole proprietorship. There's better taxes, there's better opportunity, there's less liability. There's so many different things that you should do when you're starting a business just by starting a corp instead of a sole proprietor. A lot of the construction guys, they open up sole proprietors because they're like, oh, this is $50. And to open up a corp is $800, $1,000 depending on what it is. But they don't know the repercussions that come if things hit the fan as a sole proprietor as opposed to a corporation.
Yeah.
So
It's all
do
on
your
you.
homework,
Yeah.
learn your lessons, and, you know,
Yeah.
cover your ass.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
So do you have like a partner that you work with, or was it fully just you? Like,
So
tell us about.
So now we own multiple companies within the Iron Shake umbrella. We have a framing company, we have a telecommunications company, we have a software company, and then we have like the Iron Shake itself.
So is it like Iron Chick's like the big
Yep.
one?
The parent
Exactly.
company?
And
Iron
then-
Shake is a parent, and then everything else falls under
Falls
that umbrella.
for,
Yeah.
but in the grand scheme of things, like it's all for Iron Shake.
Exactly.
Oh, okay, I
Exactly,
get
yeah.
it. I get it.
Yeah.
Okay. So who do you work with? Like who's?
So my framing company, I have a partner. We're 70-30 split. He's a great guy. He's been a framer his entire life. All he knows is framing. Or sorry, not all he knows, but he's the best at framing. The one thing about me is I like to say I know a little bit about a lot of stuff, but I don't know a lot about anything. So I know a little bit about everything, which allows me the opportunity to address problems, go through situations, find solutions, which is what we brand ourselves on. We're a 360 construction solution provider. And having that little bit of knowledge in every little thing allows me to do all of the things that I do, but partnering up with people who are specific in that industry allows me to scale those businesses significantly faster than if I was just working with another guy like myself. So,
That's
yeah,
fair.
I do have partners. And the software company, I have a partner. Iron Shake itself is me, though.
Did you think, because you came up with Iron Shake, like, by yourself as a whole?
Yep.
Because I was going to say, do you find it, like, a little bit anxious to share it with somebody? Because, like, they're also kind of reliable and they could...
Yes and no.
Yeah.
I mean, look, picking your partner is probably the most important thing you could do in anything. Like, the same way I picked my partner in marriage is the way I'm going to pick my partner in business. Like, I intend on spending the rest of my life with my wife.
Yeah.
I better be intending the same thing with my business partner. Or else, what's the point?
Yeah, like, literally,
Yeah.
what's the point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pick your partners wisely. Start small. We're in the process of potentially negotiating another partnership within the next few months. But we've been working together with this gentleman for the past 6 months. We probably won't even sign a piece of paper for maybe another year before we decide, like, okay, we're going to be partners. But we're sprinkling a little bit here. We're working together. We're coming together on certain things. And we're going to see what happens. But it's a long-term thing. Don't just be like, oh, yeah, you're my friend. Let's be partners.
No.
But what do you offer that I don't? And what do I offer that you don't?
Yeah.
You got to really be able to figure that out.
Where did you, I don't think I asked, where did you find, like, how did you meet him?
Who?
Like, your partner. Like the,
Which one?
Like, not the business partner.
Which business partner? So
Like,
we have
for
so many
Iron
different
Shake,
things.
like the
There's
one...
no business partner in Iron Shake specifically. The framing company?
Yeah, him.
Okay, so he was one of the framers on my job site, believe it or not. And yeah, we worked together on the job site. He was one of the better framers on the site. We built a good relationship. He's an honest guy. He's a gentleman. He's full of respect. He has all the things that I look for in a partner. And we have the same morals and values, which is very, very, very important.
So
But we ended up doing a little bit of work together. And then through the trade brokerage. So Iron Shake has 3 programs. Let me explain a little bit about Iron Shake. So we have a done for you, done with you, and do it yourself program. The done for you service is our full service general contracting and custom home building. So general contracting for our commercial clients and custom home building for our residential or standardized clients, homeowners. Then we have the done with you program, which is a trade brokerage essentially. So we do work with other builders, other contractors, other developers, where we supply them with specific trades in order to get their job done. Then we have the do-it-yourself program, which is our consulting service, which you mentioned, right?
yeah.
So we have so many different programs within the Iron Shake itself, and we do that in order to open as many doors as possible. But getting back into the framing company, what ended up happening was I ended up getting a lot of work for framing through the trade brokerage. Hey, Nick, you know a framer, you know a framer, you know a framer, you know a framer. You have to capitalize on the markets that you're in. So I said, okay, I keep using the same framer. I keep using a bunch of different framers. Why not take the opportunity to open up a framing company? I'm doing X amount of volume in work. It makes sense for me to open up a company within this, but I don't know enough specifically about framing in order to do that. So what do you do in that case? You partner up with someone who knows better than you do. And that's basically the way that it happened. That's how we became partners in the framing company.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fair. You mentioned that like you like boxing and fighting and whatever. So I'm just kind of curious that might have been an aspiration where you could try to open a business up.
Yeah.
And you were saying earlier like you have to try, find one that works, fail. How many have you tried like personally? 'Cause
So
was that
businesses?
one? Yeah. How many business ideas?
Many. The other day I was actually having this conversation at the dinner table, and I was like, how many businesses do I have right now? And I'm like, okay, let me like look into it and see like how many have tried and failed. So I had, so when the first company I ever opened up was Cap Construction. It was like a small general contracting company where I used to do all the work myself. Cap, my last name, Capasso. That's kind of where it came, right? So Cap Construction. Then from Cap Construction, as a sole proprietor, because I didn't know any better. Then did a couple jobs. Everything went well. Like, thankfully, I got my fingers crossed. Nothing ended up happening to me. But as I continued to grow, I decided, like, I need to open a corp. But so I started with Cap Construction. Then Cap Construction, we had a panino shop within the family, which was an amazing experience, but I will never own a restaurant again.
Yeah.
We started like a small clothing company where we thought like, oh, we're going to do luxury gym clothes, and that didn't work. It was a disaster.
Young LA.
I had a marijuana grow-up company where I was applying for licenses to do these grow-ups and start to produce marijuana as a grower. That failed tremendously.
Really?
And that was a crazy experience in itself. What else? And now I have the software company, I have the telecommunications company, I have the framing company, I have the building company. So I own 4 companies, technically 5. If you look at Iron Shake is the umbrella and everything else underneath it.
Oh, okay. So it's like that's like the biggest one. That
Yeah,
you have.
that's like the thing. Yeah.
That's like the biggest. Yeah.
And then how old were you when you like started all those companies? Were you like our age, like student, or like?
So
A
Cap
little bit out of
Construction, I started right out of high school. So I was, how old are you guys out of high school? 19.
Oh, he's old.
18, 19, whatever
Wait,
it
how
is.
are you?
I'm 19.
Oh. Okay.
19, yeah. So that's when I started Cap Construction. From there, I ended up working for like a whole bunch of different people throughout those years. Then I went all through university as Cap Construction. As soon as I got out of university and I got like a steady job, I opened up another business. From that business, I opened up another business. From that business, I opened up another business. And I was still always working for somebody, but I was trying because I had nothing to lose.
What made you though, like on the, you said like like the business on the side because you were still working like for, somebody else. But like what made you be like, okay, like I want to do it on my own?
I need to do this on my own. It wasn't a want, it was a need.
Like I need.
So
were you like tired of just like working for somebody else?
You know what? So we grew up in a very ritzy area. I grew up in Vaughan. That's where I like grew up. But my parents, like, they did everything that they had to do in order to keep the roof over our head and food in the fridge. So we had the world given to us in the sense of every necessity that we ever needed, we had. And they tried their best to give us whatever else they could. But growing up in an area like Vaughan, I grew up around a whole bunch of people with a lot of money.
Right.
Or what I thought was a lot of money at the time. Like my buddies went on vacations twice a year. They had new Xboxes. They had new shoes, new pants, new shirts, new hats. Like you name it, whatever these guys wanted, they got it. And for us, we had to wait for the things that we wanted, or we had to work for the things that we wanted. And that implementation of like, I need to work for what I want, just grenaded me in the future. Like that was like, this is who I am today because of that specific thing.
Yeah, that's what you were saying. Like it like started from like when you were a kid. Like you just know. I feel like entrepreneurs, they just know that like they're meant to like.
I want more.
Yeah, they want more. Yeah.
I want more.
So what has it done for you? So going back, like what's something that maybe like you own now, but like you couldn't afford it before or something? Like how has your lifestyle changed?
A lot.
How?
A lot.
I want to know details.
A lot. So
and don't worry, you're just not humble. Like.
So, like I'll give you an example. This is a perfect example because it's not anything crazy. So me and my wife were supposed to get married in 2020. Okay, then obviously the disaster
COVID.
of the world happened, COVID, and we had to postpone our wedding. And at the time, like working as a site super, I was making $125,000 a year. And it's
to me that's still good.
That's
like
really
good.
It's
I take that. I'll take that. What the hell?
it's not enough. If you want more, it's not enough, which is crazy, and we can get into that after. But I'll get back into the story. So, we were supposed to get married, and we had to send out wedding invites. And when we were sending, my parents weren't able to help me. Her parents, they did what they could for us as well. But again, like we didn't grow up with money, right? So we had to send out these wedding invites, and these wedding invites were like $2,500. And I was like, shit, man.
$2,500.
Wait, for what? Just to send them out?
Just to,
Just to
like
send them
just
out.
no, not even to
To
send
make
them
them?
out. I'm talking like to make
make
these
them.
wedding invites.
That's
$2,500. And I was like, I turned to my wife and I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm like, I don't think we can do it. She's like, Nick, don't worry about it. Like, well, whatever. We don't need to get these crazy invites. And then bang, COVID. I'm like, okay. So we end up waiting. We don't buy these wedding invitations. 21 goes by, 22 comes by. Now, throughout COVID, my business boomed. Construction hit the roof. It was crazy. And we end up 22. We have to send out these same wedding invites. We walk into the wedding invite place, and they're like, okay, it's $2,500. I was like, yeah, no problem. Reach into my pocket. Here's $2,500. We walked out. As soon as we walked out, we sat back in the truck. When we first got there, I was driving an F-150. Now we're driving something significantly better.
What?
We got the Nav, Lincoln Nav.
Lincoln Nav. Oh, I think I've
Lincoln
seen
Nav,
one
nice
of those.
big boat truck.
I think I know.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful. It's
I've
like
seen it at the
decked.
casino.
It's like decked right out. It's the coolest thing ever.
Wow.
And I sit back in the truck and I look at my wife and I go, "Holy shit!"
That was probably.
We made
We
it.
2
made
years
it.
ago,
Yeah.
like 2 years ago, this was a problem. Now it's money in my pocket, and that was like when it started to like, the realization started to hit. So I have a problem. My biggest problem in life is I do not smell the roses. I run 100% of the time, and I run like this.
Oh,
Anytime I go towards my goal, I run with blinders on. And my wife, she's the one who's like, Nick, take a second, smell the roses. Yeah, you're good? Okay, go
You have
back.
a balance.
She brings me back to reality, because if it was me, just me by myself, I would work 24/7. I love it. I love it. I live for it. Being an entrepreneur, being a business owner, being in construction, doing what I do, I have such a passion for it. And it's my favorite thing to do in the world. Like,
That makes me so
it's
happy.
it's
that
it's
you're saying
amazing.
that.
It's
Yeah.
amazing, and it's reaped me the rewards. It has. Took a long time. Took a lot of failures. Took a lot of lessons.
A lot of effort.
A lot of effort.
Blood,
Lot of-
sweat, tears.
Yeah,
everything.
Blood, sweat,
sweat,
tears,
tears.
you name it.
Probably literal.
It took a whole lot of it, but now things are turning around.
It's good.
That's
Yeah.
so
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What the heck?
Because like
Yeah.
you're probably like sitting.
Inspirational.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
in the
thank you,
car,
man.
and you're like, wow, like now I can just
No.
give him 2,500. Like it's nothing.
Like it's nothing.
And then you sit
It's
there and you're
nothing.
like,
Yeah.
wow, like, you just sit there and you're like, wow, I've come so far.
Like the
100%.
Like
progress.
great gratitude is so important.
Yeah. See, Matt, who's your last podcast host, he taught me a lot about gratitude. Like, so me and Matt, we bounce ideas off each other. We're very different yet very similar.
Very humble, both of you.
We
Yeah.
try to be, right? Like, what's
Yeah.
the point in being
Like showing flex.
like, for what?
flexing.
For what? For what? You're not impressing nobody.
Yeah.
That's
At
right.
the end of the day, you have to do what you want to do for yourself, not for anybody else.
That's fair.
And Matt taught me a lot about gratitude. He's like, Nick, he's like, I do this journaling thing. I was like, yeah, okay, Matt, here we go. Mr. Spiritual, you know what I mean?
That sounds like my dad.
Yeah, and like, because we're not into that stuff. We're construction workers. We're like,
Like
they're-
deal with it kind
like,
of thing.
deal
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
That's like the toxic
Big
masculinity, though.
But do you think it's toxic? Is the question I
Or-
have for you.
Yeah.
Because I
think
don't.
you need faith. Like I feel
Okay.
like you need to put your faith in something. At
Mhm.
least like you have to like be grateful for everything. And like I like how he does like the journal thing because it's
Yeah.
so true. Like
Mhm.
the universe or whoever. Like I believe in God, so I'd be like God
Yep.
gave me so much
Mhm.
that like you have no other option but
Yeah.
to be so grateful and be like, you know what, like God won't give you more unless you're happy with where you're at right now. Like being comfortable right now. Like I could say right now, like I'm so happy. Like I'm doing a podcast. I'm doing something I've always wanted to do, and I'm so
Mm-hmm.
happy right now. Or it's like because I'm so grateful, like He's gonna give me even more than I imagined because I'm happy with what I am now.
Mhm.
You disagree?
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
so that I completely agree with you 100%. It's important to be grateful for the things that you have, and I do believe in God as well. And I think like
Yeah.
I need God in my life
Oh,
because if it wasn't for that, there would be no higher power than myself.
Nope.
You know what I mean? So it's so important to have something to look upon and be like, you know what? I learned my lesson today. I understand the path that you're guiding me on, and it's so crazy. I'm not a very religious person in any way, but I do believe in a higher power that
course.
allows me to do the things that I do. 100%. Yeah. But
Yeah.
reverting to the toxic
Yeah, I wanna hear about that.
masculinity.
I want to hear about that. Do you find that's kind of like prominent in construction?
I think it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think so. I think the world has gone soft, and now they think that a real man is toxic, which I think is
no, not
such,
that, but like
it is.
I agree with
It's
you. I agree with you.
atrocious.
Yeah.
You are killing the man. Like the verbiage toxic masculinity. So look, anything in life, if you do an excess, it will kill you, or it's bad for you. Same thing with anything.
Yeah.
But, and this is a big but. Being a man is such an important thing in this world. You need real men. I'm talking like guys who buckle down. They will hold their world on their shoulders.
I totally agree.
And trek forward every day.
Yeah.
And the ability to do that comes from no bullshit.
Yeah.
No excuses.
Yeah.
Wake up, go.
Yeah.
Wake up, go. Oh, you felt bad today?
Yeah.
Suck it up, buttercup. Get to work.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. I feel like when men don't like show their emotions or they don't want to cry.
Yeah.
Like that's like no. Like you're a man,
Okay.
but you're
You
allowed
are
to do those
Mm-hmm.
things.
So
Like as a woman, I find it even more masculine when a guy can like sit down and be like with his emotions and like he's okay to cry. It's okay to be sad. But obviously it's like you know, I can still know like, hey, like you got it. Like you're the man, you got it. But I also appreciate when a guy's like, hey, like it's hard right now. Like I'm going through it. And like, you know, instead of being like a persona where it's like, I'm always gonna, you know, because then sometimes, I don't know, maybe
like
that's just
neglecting
what I like,
your
So
emotions.
I'm gonna tell you something straight up. Like showing emotion, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Nothing. Now, I kind of lean on the less emotional side, but when I break down, I'm not perfect.
Yeah,
I'm not
right.
made of steel. I mean, the company is called Iron Shake. I'm as tough as nails can be. But the difference between a real man and somebody who's incapable of being a true man is not that they don't feel, but they're able to overcome that feeling. So you need to be able to feel, you need to understand it, and you need to keep going. Don't sit in it. Don't dwell in it. Don't allow society to, oh, it's okay to be sad all the time.
Yeah.
Or it's okay to show
That's
your
so
feelings
true.
as a man. Yes, it is. But you gotta,
can't let it
like,
use an excuse.
being a man, you gotta push through it. Push through it. Be a man. Take the world on your shoulders. Take your family. Protect, provide, and love. That's all that matters. Everything else,
I love.
Big deal.
No, that's so true.
Yeah.
The whole thing with like men and masculinity is so true because I do truly feel like it's lost in our
It is.
society. Like it's so lost.
I feel
oh,
like
you
it's-
come to a construction site?
Yeah. You're
The
behind.
masculine men. The
I'm-
masculine energy.
I'm not gonna like. There's still people on a construction site that look. There's good and bad in everything.
Yeah.
There's good and bad in everything. Every business, every career path, there's gonna be good and bad. But the masculine features on a construction site are like mandatory part of the culture. You got to be a savage. You got to be able to hang with the boys. You got to be able to get put down and keep moving forward. You got to be able to make mistakes, learn from those mistakes, keep going. You got to show up to work every day. There's no like, there's no HR on a construction site. Guys.
Yeah. It's so.
Okay. Like, oh, you slept in today? Guess what? Stay home for the rest of the day.
There's like no.
Oh, but I'm already on my way. Doesn't matter. Stay home. You're not getting paid today. You're gonna learn your lesson.
So I've got a question here.
Yeah.
What's like the biggest opportunity you see available for like entrepreneurs in the construction trades industry?
So, the most beautiful thing about the construction industry is it allows you to be an entrepreneur even when you're working for another company. So we have this thing. It's called piece workers. Okay. So, majority of licensed trades, plumbers, HVAC guys, or even non-licensed trade, your flooring guys, your tile guys, your drywallers, whoever they are, they technically work for themselves. So they have an opportunity to make money within a company that's steady, but it's based on the production that you produce. So you get X amount of dollars per square foot or per unit that you produce. So having that opportunity allows you to be an entrepreneur in your own without having to go get work. And there's tremendous opportunities for that. I know HVAC guys who are guys who put up heating and air pipes or making well over $250,000 a year.
I have two. Yeah, sorry, you're doing it.
I was just gonna follow up, like how, just like what's the framework for them doing that? Like because if they're still working for, a company or someone else, how are they still like, working on their own, like being entrepreneurs on their own?
So, I mean, what do you consider an entrepreneur? You consider an entrepreneur as somebody who owns their own business. What does owning their own business entail to you? Like, tell me about what you consider an entrepreneur.
Like, I would think having control of your own time, not having to resort, like
Like,
not
you
having to
make your own
report to someone
schedule.
else, you know what I
Your
Okay.
pay isn't capped.
So that's the idea that a lot of people have about entrepreneurs. Your pay is not capped, and you make your own schedule. So if you work for these companies as a piece worker, your pay is only as good as what you produce. So your pay is uncapped. And if you don't want to go to work that day, you don't go to work.
You have people.
But you make no money.
Oh.
Yeah.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, but do you think you're at the point now where it's like, so you have your own business, you have workers.
Mm-hmm.
Do you technically have to go to work? You have people doing it for you.
100%.
But
like,
is
if
it you still want to go?
No. Like,
So I'm confused.
so look, in order to run a successful business, you have to be on and in that business all the time.
Okay.
You have to understand fundamentally from the ground up all the way to the top of the corporate ladder how to run that business.
So
So there's
you
like
have
no, there's no chillax moment, even if you've made it.
but
No.
Yeah.
No.
like you
No.
can't just like,
Stagnancy is the killer of all.
but you
good.
can't just like
Yeah.
come to like the site and be like, oh, you guys are doing a really good job.
Mm-hmm. That's what I do
I'm
all day.
going home now.
I've been on 4 job sites this morning.
Yeah,
It's the
so
one. Well, I got here at 1 o'clock. I went to 4 job sites already.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's like you're not
But-
doing the hard labor anymore.
100%. But I also have to deal with the complaints.
With
I have
the-
to deal with the problems.
All
I
the
have to deal with the
responsibility.
responsibilities. I had to send out invoices. I had to make sure everything was done right. I had to communicate with the homeowner. I had to schedule trades coming up. And I have guys who do all this stuff, but I still need to be involved in understanding the process behind each and every task that our company does in order to continue to allow it to grow.
Mm-hmm.
Could I hire that out?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
But
Would you ever want to?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But I'd still be working on the business. Then I'm networking, I'm building relationships, I'm garnering business. Every day is a grind.
It's fair.
You have to work.
So do you have someone, like, let's switch it to marketing. Do you have someone that does your marketing? How do you do
Yep,
marketing?
Exactly. So we do have a marketing team. My executive assistant, our videographer, our marketing team in general, everyone who's on it. We have a guy for ads. We have a guy for videos. We have a guy for Instagram. We have a guy for LinkedIn. And
They're all guys?
No, I just say guy.
Yeah.
Like, everyone except for one is a guy, actually. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah,
you would think content, girls are really, really good at that stuff.
100%. And again, it just so happened to be like that. My executive assistant is a female, and she's like the best thing ever. By the way, like the
I
best.
love women in these manly fields.
It's important.
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah.
Like having her organize me, keep me in line, tell me where I gotta be. Like, I don't have time to check emails, and I bet you if I check my phone, I probably have like 35, 40 emails
Popular.
right now. And now I gotta drive from here, go to another job site, and I can't check those emails. Okay.
Like, you can, but why
I
would you
can,
want to?
but I can't, right? She filters them through. She tells me what's important. We address what's important. The rest gets delegated. But there's so many important tasks in a day that I work 10, 15 hours a day.
So, a bunch of questions just came to mind now that you said that. We forgot to touch on women in construction. Give a little about that. Your
Okay.
thoughts.
I think the industry is dominated predominantly by males. And I personally believe that there is a backstory to it in terms of capabilities, not of all women or not of all men, but in terms of physical strength, in terms of like the want to get dirty. I mean,
Yeah.
like, I'm not saying that
Yeah.
every woman is like this, but the average woman doesn't want
wanna
to
do
get
it.
dirty.
No, it's so
You don't
true.
want to run a quick
No.
cut all day or
No.
pour concrete or do asphalt or paving or like it's tough, dirty work. So
Yeah.
majority of women don't want to do it. So
Yeah.
You don't see it too often.
Yeah.
And when you do, like it cool,
Yeah.
you know, but
Mhm.
it is a very male dominated industry. And I
Yeah.
think the reasoning behind that is because of the requirement to hammer down.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. At the end of the day, like I believe women and men, like they're made for two different things.
Mhm.
Like they can, but
100%.
Yeah, it's not that they,
They
can't.
totally can.
It's not that they
Look,
can't.
it's not
Yeah.
that,
You don't want.
They
it's
might
not
just
that
not-
I can't take care of my child,
Mhm.
but a woman is so much better at
They're
it.
like naturally nurtured.
They're naturally
and
nurturing.
Men
yeah,
are
exactly.
like naturally providers.
Providers,
And that's why it's
exactly.
like balances out.
No.
Because like women are more like motherly, more like,
Mhm.
and then men are more like, I got this. Like don't worry. Like you sit back. I'm gonna go. Like I got the bill. I got this.
Mhm.
I got that. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
Like yeah, we
Yeah.
need more men like that in society.
I think so
100%.
too. I think so too. Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
What else?
I think last thing. we
Oh,
wanna kinda go
wage. The wages.
Ooh.
What? So what's like? You ask.
No. You can go with wages.
Okay.
I was gonna ask about like social media presence, like
Mhm.
making videos, content, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And what's the importance of that?
'Kay.
And like, how important is it? Like, if you didn't have any of that social media content, if you didn't have any of that
Like-
videos online or whatever.
Like what blew Iron Shake up?
So I'm gonna tell you straight up, social media has done absolutely nothing for us
Damn it.
yet.
No.
That's not
Yeah.
So
good.
then how did you get
That's
so
not good.
many? How did you get your
So
clients?
what?
Clients.
Referrals.
Okay.
There's no greater way to grow a business than to have a referral. Word of mouth is the fastest way to grow a business, period. And
Mhm.
it's exponential in scale. So people tend to get lost in the, oh, but this guy only told one person about me. Yeah, but that one person told somebody else. And then that same person told somebody else. And it grows in exponents.
Mhm.
2 turns into 4, 4 into 8, 8 into 16, 16 into 32, 32 into 64,
Yeah.
64 into 128, 128 into 256. These
And it
numbers
just goes
grow
on.
super fast, and it all comes from word of mouth.
And
And,
I
that's the way we did it.
Well, and also when you started your business,
Yeah.
was TikTok and Instagram? It wasn't even a big thing.
No, but I definitely, if I had focused on it earlier in my business, I think I could have reaped the rewards earlier. I do think that down the road, marketing, social media, all these things that we're doing on like with our online presence is going to garner a lot of different things. However, it hasn't done it yet. We've been doing it for a year, plus or minus.
So are you
But
kind of?
yeah.
I can kind of tell. Are you doing kind of the same thing as like Matt in the sense of like he said like he wants to kind of separate himself from the realtor thing. Like he wants to just be Mac and Pulley. So now.
Mhm.
Iron Shake, we're looking at you, and it's
Yep.
like you are the face of your brand.
Yep.
Do you like that? Do you like how it's like you're kind of separating yourself now?
So, like, for me specifically, I want Iron Shake to have the exact same morals and values that I do.
Mhm.
On all of our shirts, it says like 3 things. It says strength, honor, reliability. Those are my 3 core values, and I implement those in everything that we do within our company. So we as a team, as a company, implement those exact same things. So I don't want me to be the brand, but I want my morals and values to be company wide, and it's like a mandatory requirement for all of my guys. So yes, I would love to step out of the,
like
I
just
don't
being
mind
like,
doing
oh
this
Nick, I'm a
podcast.
construction worker.
Mhm.
Like now you're like, hey, like now I'm gonna do podcasting. You might be invited to one of our events in the future. Like
Yeah.
now it's like you're separating yourself not from the business, but now it's like you are now the face of the
Yeah.
brand. So, and I think I think people more business should do that because they like like people watching us now. They like who you are. They like how you talk. They like how you
They like
act.
your personality.
Yep.
They
kinda
like
thing, right?
you. So now, of course,
Yeah.
you're gonna like your brand because they like you.
Yeah,
I think that's a
exactly,
good way
and
to
that's
look at it.
important. It's just a good way to showcase who you are or who we are as a company.
Yeah.
Look, everything stems from its leadership. If the leader is a good person, 9 out of 10 times, the team is a good person, and if you have a good team, you'll have a good business, and if you have a good business, you'll make good money.
Right.
Period.
And then vice versa too, right?
Exactly.
Vice versa.
Yeah, I think the last question that we have for today is the wage for a construction worker. So let's talk. Let's do so coming out of university.
Yep.
What could a teenager like us expect?
Okay, so here I'm gonna run this by you. You're going to school for commerce.
Commerce. We both. are.
You're going to school for
Business administration. Same-
business
same
admin.
shit, right?
Okay. The average wage coming out of university for you guys is
Honestly, depends on where you
It
specialize.
depends on so many factors. I
Depends.
think
I
like
think like maybe 70, 80.
70.
I
You
don't
think?
know.
Maybe
If you
like
go into like high finances,
It-
So I'm gonna
Yeah.
be honest with you. The fact that you guys don't know this is crazy. You guys are looking to get a better future. You're looking to build these businesses. You're looking to attain jobs. You're looking to do something with this degree. You need to know that information. Like that's so important. You said you wanted to buy a house earlier.
yeah,
You don't even know how much money you're gonna make when you get out of school.
I know.
You gotta start.
Well,
man.
because it depends on
Make a
so many
plan.
factors. Because it's like the
Okay.
club, like this is one factor. Like the club, like me joining a club. This could having this, like in my belt, doing like a podcast that can contribute to how much money I can make and like what I want to do.
Okay.
And also like who you meet. That's another thing. Because at the end of the day, like it's who you know. Like I totally believe it's who you know.
Oh, 100%.
So it's like- I know you now.
Yep.
I know Matt now.
Mhm.
Like so many things can like kind of take on how much you want to make.
Yep.
And, I mean, you're also talking to someone that doesn't exactly know what they want to do.
Mhm.
But I
Mm,
feel like,
like,
do you
honestly,
know what
yeah.
you want to do for sure?
I'd
the
say
field?
that's the thing, cause like with this club, it's introduced me to a lot of things. So now
Right.
I have my own idea as well. So I don't know if I'm gonna, cause I've been talking to people for that idea.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's gonna become my main thing, or is, for example, something finance related. I don't know.
Yeah.
Really what I'm gonna do with
So-
that. So
Like general game plan. First, come up with a plan.
Mhm.
Figure out how much money you need to make, and then revert backwards from there.
Today? Well, like
today, yeah,
300,000.
whatever. Sure. But
Yeah,
how are you gonna get there,
literally,
right? Like
literally.
you kind of gotta break that all down and figure out. Start from the top. See what you need. How are you gonna make that? You're gonna work 2 jobs for $80,000. Brings it 160. You take that 160. You invest it into S&P index, some stock markets,
Vanguard.
maybe some cryptocurrency if you want to get really freaky. But like, you gotta be risk averse and understand what you're investing your money into. Some small real estate. There's all kinds of ways, and you kind of work your way back. But getting into like the construction worker wages, like the average licensed trade right now is making anywhere between $50 and $65 an hour. That's
it's
crazy.
such a popping business.
Okay, so let's call it $50 an hour just to make our math like super easy. Everyone works 40 hours a week. You multiply that by $50. That's $2,000. You multiply that by 52. Works into $104,000 a year. That's
Starting.
great money. Starting, so that's 4 years. So the average, you guys go to school for 4 years. The average construction worker, as soon as you're done university, they're already making 6 figures. You're just starting university. 9 out of 10 of you guys are going to start at a base wage job. You're going to be at that anywhere between $40,000 and $60,000. This construction worker's been making. Now he's making 100. The year before he's making 90. The year before he's making 85, and the year before that he was making mid 70s. So you're talking 70, 80, 90, 100. When you add those up, 70, 80, 90, 100, that's 150, 240, 340. That's $340,000 that he has sitting in his bank account, and you're still paying for your school.
Wait, why do you think the wage for construction workers is so much more higher?
Because it's a high demand job.
Yeah.
Because only certain people are going to do it, and it's going to require a certain kind of person in order to get dirty, to be physical, to go through all the things that they go through, and it's an amazing thing, and I think it's so important for the economy.
That was great. This
Fair.
is great. This is very valuable.
it's fun.
Yeah.
So now I think to end it off, and I said this was the last question, but to end it off now, like, what's your advice? Just give
Yeah, like if someone comes up to you
for
and you know you have sorry, just like building off.
Yeah,
Just like
yeah.
they have like a minute.
Mm.
Like you can tell them only like one piece of advice. What
Yeah.
would you say?
or something you wish you knew.
Yeah.
What would you say to like your younger self?
So
and-
those are going to be 2 completely different things. I'll start with
Yeah.
one piece of advice: don't make excuses. It's that simple.
that's fair.
Make
That's
no
fair.
excuses. Why are you not at the stage that you're at? Figure that out and start to make changes. That's number 1. No excuses, no BS. Get it done. Some advice that I would give my younger self. We talked about it earlier. When I started in business, I was 0. Now I'm 13. I'm 32. I opened my business at 19. Add those up. I'm only 13 years old. You're 0. Think about where you were when you were 13. I know what I was doing when I was 13. Okay, I was working, sure, but like I was playing baseball with my buddies.
Yeah, talking to boys. Like,
That's-
I don't know.
That's how old I really am in business.
Mhm.
And look how far I've come. The world is endless. The opportunities are endless. Don't get discouraged by time, because it is only relevant to how long you've been doing the thing that you want to do. That's advice that I'll give myself. Don't get strung
That's
out.
really good.
Don't get
No, that's
disappointed.
good.
Yeah, I love the like no
Yeah.
excuses.
Yeah.
Do you watch like Andrew Tate?
Not really.
You
No.
could be him, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd be a better like.
I think you
be-
could honestly be him because you're
Yeah,
very like
maybe.
no excuses,
Mhm.
masking is the way to go. Like very like
No.
yeah,
I'd say like a better version.
yeah, like a better, not
not-
like the,
yeah.
the,
I
the
think
Not the
morally,
misogyny.
not the
yeah.
misogynistic
Yeah,
one, but
yeah.
like the yeah.
Mhm.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's-
Yeah.
I like that a lot because I feel like a lot of people will say, "Oh, I'll do tomorrow," or like, you know, I'm tired right now, or I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
But if, like you were talking about, like the Netflix thing, there's no point.
Hmm?
Like what?
Yeah,
what's,
like
the, what's the point?
Watch Netflix. Instead.
What are you doing?
Like what are you
yeah.
what are you gaining
What
out
are you
of that?
What are you doing now? You
other
can
than-
watch a documentary. Maybe you could learn something.
Mhm.
Okay, so this is me. I'm not telling everyone that you got to be like me, but if you want to get to where we're at the age that we're at, in the business that we're at, you got to be exceptional. Okay, how do you become exceptional? When you're in your car, what do you listen to?
Podcast.
Okay, when you're in your car, what do you listen to?
I'm gonna be honest, just
So
music.
rap music.
Just music. Yeah, yeah.
But-
Drake.
It's not great.
These are opportunities for you to learn about what you want to do. Every minute that I'm in the car, every minute that I have an opportunity, I'm trying my best to learn something from somebody else in order to succeed and to take those lessons and kind of bring them into the future. So,
Yeah.
no excuses.
No excuses.
Don't waste time.
Yeah, I was gonna go off and say, Nick, thank you so much
Thank you so much
for being here.
Thank you
Thank
guys.
you so much for
Yeah.
showing up. You know, take your time out of your day. Obviously, you're working a ton, but still
Yeah.
taking the time out to come talk to us and give your insights. And thank you so much for listening to What It Takes by EDA. We hope you enjoyed this episode and found it inspiring, hopefully, because there was a lot of inspiring moments. If you love the conversation, don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for the next episode. And we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Thank you for having me, guys. Take care.